Hello. Are we there? Are we live? I think we probably are. Let's just have a look-see. Welcome to the third official off-grid stream. We are talking about off-grid, we're talking about hacking, and we're talking about how to set up your own hacks in off-grid largely. So these dev streams are all about a game about hacking and data privacy, and essentially I want to show you how to make your own hackable devices. We started a little bit on that last week with how to make a ransomware elevator and how you set up the kind of text and script, and I'm going to show you this time around how to make particles, particle effects specifically in Unity, using our modding tools to set your own kind of crazy effects when you hack a device. Let me just switch my volume down a touch so I can hear. Hopefully that's a little better for you guys too. So yeah, if you haven't been on here before, my name is Rich. I'm one of the devs at s01ep03. We're making this game called Off Grid. If you're completely stumbling across us from somewhere else in the Twitch sphere, it's a hacking game where data is your most powerful weapon. It's essentially a story where the pen is mightier than the sword. So instead of collecting any weapons, your tools are various apps that you can use to hack into IoT devices around the world. And essentially you have to find the vulnerabilities in the IoT embedded devices, Internet of Things devices, in each of the buildings that you enter in order to find out information about the guards patrolling it and use that information against them. So I guess the easiest thing is probably to jump straight into it and show you a little bit. I'm mindful to point out that this is a work in progress game. We are very much pre-alpha. We are working diligently in making it look pretty as we go along, but you're seeing a pre-alpha build. You're actually also seeing something that's been newly remodeled, and I haven't had the time to do a lighting pass, so you'll see some dark patches and bits and pieces, but hopefully you'll still think it looks pretty interesting. So this is Unity. Hopefully turn that down a bit more. It's still a bit loud in my ears. Yeah, this is Unity. If you haven't used Unity before, it's pretty straightforward. You might be going, oh, I thought I was here to see about a video game and modding in a video game. Why are you talking about dev work? Well, actually, one of Off-Grid's kind of interesting and unique features is we've got a tool set that mean that when you buy the game, you can also, from Steam, go to the tools window, which is often where lots of the modding tools with your favorite games are listed, and you might not even know about it. But you can go to tools in Steam, and for us, you'd end up downloading a package that includes a Unity project that we've set up that you can use to make your own levels, hackable devices, apps, and whatever else. So yeah, I guess let's jump straight into it. I'll open this up a bit so you can see a bit more of the level. Just quickly, and remember, if you've got any questions or thoughts, say hi in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe, obviously. We've also got a Discord that maybe someone can post in the chat for me. But there's a lot of stuff that we tend to throw in there in terms of chat about behind the scenes of the game and upcoming news and releases and bits and bobs. So yeah. Right. Well, I was going to show you a bit of the game, so where's my game controller? Here. Yep. Right. Hit play. and we should have a bit of off-grid able to show you. So there's not like a nice, oh yeah, there is actually. There you go. Turn that music down in the background. Oh yeah, I was cheating. Forgotten about that. So the thing that I was planning on showing you is, come on Unity, how we set up the hackable IoT devices in the game. Essentially, you can see in the background here, there's a coffee machine, there's a vending machine over to the side. Unity has been running a bit slowly for me today. But essentially, we've basically integrated Lua into Unity. It's how you script the missions, it's how you script devices, it's how you write up new character profiles, it's how you do everything in the game, which is, you know, most people don't associate Lua and Unity. Everyone thinks of C#. Well, we've actually kind of built our own API layer that makes writing simple missions nice and straightforward and easily human readable and whatever else. I was going to pull up. Let's do that. Is that working? I think Unity might have crashed, I'm afraid. Very strange. Well, while that boots up, I guess I can tell you a little bit about some of what I've got planned. One of the things I was hoping to do was make a bit of an announcement. I think I'm going to hold off on that until I've gotten to show you a bit more of the behind the scenes here. Okay, that looks like it's updated finally. Right, let me just save the scene and see whether it's Unity being silly for any reason to do with that. Right, what we're doing here is we're actually going to grab player Spawn, who was out in this room here while I was basically going to try and show you a bit of how these devices work. We're going to take this device, which is a cola machine that we've got that's hackable. I'll show you how it's hackable in a moment. And we were going to do something similar with a coffee machine over here. But I'll start, like I said, by getting that spawn, although I've lost it. There we go. Getting that spawn and putting it back in the start location of the game. If I can work out where it is. We'll just rename this one. Oh no, that won't work, will it? Yeah, hang on. Player spawn, that's all we want. Right. Oh yeah, it ended up in this little secret room, which is a secret room that I shouldn't be showing you. Whoops. Right, let's plonk this down at the beginning of the level here. And hit play again. This should now work for us. Right, here we go. So as I said, it's a little dark because I haven't got a lighting pass going at the minute. We're in the middle of making some tweaks and changes to the build. Essentially, you're in this back alley of a level here to start with. We're going to get some messages come through from this guy. Just going to skip through this stuff so that you can get straight on to seeing what I'm talking about with how we write up this coffee machine. There we go. There we go. So this is data view. You're able to see the text messages that are being left behind. As I said, don't worry about some of the shonky lighting artifacts at the moment. We have all these hackable devices around us. At the minute, all we need is this ID card. Oh yeah, no, I was going to cheat. I'm going to cheat to get through here a little quicker. So go in through this little secret cubby hole. So you can see that there's various devices in here that are, this is our little test area where we test out hackable devices that we're working on. What we're going to do today is I'm going to take you through the basic process for setting up, if you were a modder, setting up one of your own hackable devices with some interesting particle effects on. Last week we did how to do an elevator like this thing to the right and just do some interesting text on it for the kind of ransomware element. But this one, we're going to go into this soda machine. And we've got our settings here, and we hit social media integration and vending mechanism force up, and save and exit. And then this thing's now ejecting cans all over the place, firing them at us. It's not affecting the player at the minute, but you can see that they are physics-based particles as well, so you can do some interesting stuff with that. They're piling up over there. Another example would be this smart fridge. Again, is set up with power on, update the firmware update failed for fridge 10. What a surprise. And look, there we go. There's we turn the helper app off, you'll see a little more easily. It's sparking because its firmware update didn't work out all that well. So these particle effects are completely custom things that you as a modder can set up as part of your hackable device, as well as kind of making a payload and creating some interesting ways in which devices can be hacked. You can create interesting visuals and knock-on effects for what happens when they're hacked. So we're going to go and look at how that works with the coffee machine, basically. First things first, we basically want to put in some kind of reference to the device on the network. So I'm just going to pull up my... Well, I was going to use Visual Studio Code actually, because Atom doesn't like OBS. I thought I would be able to use Visual Studio Code. It seems to be having the same problem. It's like a black screen. I don't know whether anyone out there has had any experience with that before in the same kind of a way. Drop me a line in the chat if you've gotten Visual Studio Code. That's the small kind of light version of the IDE, or Atom doing anything on a Twitch broadcast using OBS, because I, for the life of me, can't work it out. I think it might be some kind of weird OpenGL kind of thing. Right. So instead, I was going to just use Notepad++, because good old Notepad++ always displays. There we go. It's a bit more boring looking than the sleek background that you get some of these fancier IDEs, but it'll do the job, that's for sure. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to define a new device in the devices section of the mission script, and these things look a little bit big when you're scrolling through them like this, but we've seen networks, then devices. Oh, I've recently organized this stuff actually, so that device is going to be on the F0, floor 0, not in the kitchen, dining hall and basement stairs, elevator, digital radio. Yeah. So essentially the first thing we're going to do is check out the files so that version control will let me edit it. Open containing folder. Check out. As you can see in the background here, there's still mayhem going on with a couple of devices that we've set particle effects off on. So, right. What we're going to do is we're going to add a new device. We said it was a coffee machine, didn't we? So, and we've got a bunch of coffee machines, so to discern it from the others, we'll write floor 0, coffee machine. Anyone who hasn't seen Lua before, it's kind of Python-like. It's pretty straightforward as a language. It's, I guess, unlike Python, it doesn't rely on indentation. You can do whatever you want indentation-wise. It's kind of defined largely in tables, and a lot of what we do in off-grid, because we're not really writing code, we're actually writing data. Like we've got a data-driven system here, and you writing data tables in Lua is essentially just changing variables with the use of some handy functions. So anyway, here is our coffee machine. It needs an internal name. That is what we call the object, but in Unity. But it's also what we would actually have. Show up when you're targeting the hacker device. So you want it to sound kind of realistic. I mean, so what I tend to do when I'm writing up these devices is I Google like coffee vending machine supplier or something similar, and I look for what the kind of model and make numbers are. vending suppliers and concession suppliers. Coffee vending machine supplier in Dubai. Let's have a look at that. A great selection of high quality coffee vending machine supplier. A great selection of suppliers on this website. So I'll have a look at the products page. Coffee machine, mini fresh 3300. That sounds good. Maybe we'll have a Lioness XS. This is a pretty big machine, so mini fresh maybe doesn't sound quite right. A Venezia collage. How about let's call it Cafe Fresh. Cafe Fresh 4000. 4,000, and this is the one that's in the lobby, so we'll name it lobby. Maybe we'll call it possible lobby because that's the name of the level. Cool. It's a lure table, so you put in a comma. This is what I was guilty of forgetting about while rushing through trying to show you guys some device scripting last week. Data color, not particularly important at this point, but for a bit of fun. Oh, it's not giving me suggestions. Red. And this is where it gets interesting. So, I mean, we can set all kinds of things. We can set whether it has an owner and whether you can how you can access it and various other things. I'm not going to go through that right now. We'll have something on sort of privilege escalation and password cracking and the process for setting up a device to need cracking and require collection of data first in order to crack and stuff like that. I'm going to start just by going through what we kind of did last week with a basic script, but also how these particle effects are set up. We'll probably call this F0 coffee machine .lua, I guess. Cool. So, next up, hey, Snow Hydra, thanks for popping in. Yeah, this is in Lua. Yeah, as I said before, it's sort of a bit of an unlikely pairing. Yeah, if you've seen this being in Unity, then the fact that it's in Lua is possibly slightly surprising. We're using a Moonsharp framework, which is really cool little open source framework that allows you to integrate Lua and interface with your C#. And yeah, there's lots of fun stuff that can be had once you get to that point. Sam, keep asking me questions. I'm up for some questions. Although I'm not the world's biggest Lua expert, I'm going to show you what we do with it. So yeah, we've defined the device here. So the next thing to do is to go and find all the ask me all the questions. I am going to go and find the device. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this in the background so that we can go back into Unity and find the coffee machine that we're going to hack, which is here. And first things first, this what? Oh, that's just taking a while to update. This has a spawn on it. There we go. That's what we're after. Hey Demon, good to see you. So yeah, we now have the coffee machine device. It's because it's essentially set up as a basic prefab for dotting around. That's just called coffee machine. We need it to link to the, as I said, the internal name that we have in our Lua script for the device. And then we're going to throw in that name here. But bear with me, Unity is being a slow SOB today. I think it's probably version control related. It sort of doesn't like me clicking away from focus on. It doesn't like me losing focus on it. It doesn't like me paying attention to other software. Right, so we've named this device after the internal name in our script. This has got a few other interesting things on it. It's got an interest point, which we'll get into in another stream sometime. That's essentially, you can see the gesture and the fail gesture. That's essentially directing the AI, and so we'll get into some interesting AI stuff to do with how you set up devices and how that affects AI when you're modding. But what we're going to look at here is, first things first, just setting this thing up as a hackable device. So first off, we add a component. Oh, I've just seen that you can't actually see that far. Someone should have said. I'm using one of those ultra wide screens, which means that this is all the way off there. There we go. Sorry about that. Probably had no idea what I was talking about for that period. Oh, it's done it again. There we go. So this is what I was talking about. So we've got the internal name from our device definition here. We're then going to switch over here. We've dropped it into the object. And this is a really key point. I'm glad it didn't trip me up last week when I was streaming. But last night or the night before, I spent ages hammering my head against like why I wasn't getting any logs as to the Lua errors that were stopping my devices from connecting, and it turned out that I'd actually got a duplicate object of exactly the same name in the same level, and so that level was making a net connection and hackable somewhere else in the level, and I was there trying to test the other object with that same name, and it wasn't working. So there's no way of prioritizing which device it will pick up if you have two objects of the same name, and the likelihood is it won't be the one that you want. So always have a unique name for your internal name and your game object name. So we're going to put a mission script on here, if I can find the I button. Mission object. So there's a bunch of different types of mission object in off-grid, and these are all things that come in this level kit tool set that we deliver to you. You basically download a free copy of Unity. You've bought your copy of the game, and or acquired it by other means if that's what you need to do. I won't judge you. Because you've got a copy of the game, you have access to this set of tools. You download a free copy of Unity's personal edition, upload our project in it, and then you have access to all the developer tools that we use. Mission objects are a massive part of that, and so this component that we've just added, you can set triggers for objectives or conversations or whatever else. You can set up interactions for basically just for doors and like making actual physical interaction part of your puzzle. You can set them up as spawns, but here we want to set this one up as a hackable object and take generic off as well. You can see it's got this little validation window here. Oh no, you can't, because I've got the I have got my little like and subscribe thing in the way, which I can move, definitely. Give me a sec. Let's move it here. That better? Yeah, it's a bit small. I tried using one of those zoom things, but I couldn't get it to render properly on the screen, I'm afraid. Not without showing my entire desktop, which, as much as I love you all, you don't need to see. So, basically, on this mission object, we've set it as hackable, and then it's got this validation stuff in the bottom, which you might not be able to read all that easily, but it essentially says incorrect layer used, must be mission object, and we can hit fix, and it will automatically fix the layer here, sets it on the mission objects layer, and the same in terms of there wasn't the right tag, we'll hit fix there, sets it to hackable device, and actually if you don't have a collider on, it'll generate a collider for you as well. So that's the first step of setting up the mission object. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our mission script, which is here, and what we're going to do is we're now going to connect this thing. So we want to copy, and this is another shame about not being able to show you an atom, because there's some really nice, really clever little shortcuts in Atom that I won't get to use in Notepad++. But essentially, yeah, I've got coffee machine, which is the device name here. I'm going to copy that, and then we'll just follow one of the other devices and as to what they do. So Control F, find next, and you'll see it's dropped us down to, well, we don't want to be in the printers, but dropped us down to here, these mission add hackable device. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to do mission add hackable device, mission dot devices dot, oh right, and then that's where we put in our device name. So that's there, and there's one other place. So we've added that hackable device to the mission table. It now knows that it's not just defined, it needs to think of it as a mission object. Then the next thing is this mission connected devices thing. So as you can see, there's a heck of a lot of devices that get connected in this level. We'll just pop our device name down there, and then we'll just, we'll copy it out. So it's mission. There we go. Come on. Mission dot connect to network. Then in the mission table, and then this is where we're finding the device that we defined, which we wrote where it looks for its Lua script and stuff like that. Mission dot devices dot office phone. Oh no, not office phone, coffee machine. That's what we're working on, isn't it? See? That would have been double definition and would have broken everything. So then we set up what network it's on. We've basically had like SMS sending vending machines so far that send you like little text messages that says, oh, like us on Facebook for a free coffee and stuff like that. So we'll keep this one on 4G so that it's easy to access. Networks.s01ep03 4G dot name. All right, what's the second line? And then the access key. Right, so basically we're giving it the device, the network it's on, and then the access key that it needs to be able to do a handshake with that network and actually connect to it. Get rid of this now. And that's all you need to do in the mission script. And this is where it gets interesting. So now we're going to make a new Lua script for the actual device. So if we scoot all the way back up here to F0, where was it? It was there. Yeah. We're now gonna make this file. So I will just jump over to the content folder quickly. Bear with me. Devices, and I'll make a new text document that I'm going to call s01ep03.lua. Yep. And now, will that work? Yes. Should be able to drag that into there. Get rid of that. That's just the wiki page for devices. Get rid of that because that's just some bash for messing around with watermarking our lovely pictures that we do, screenshots and whatnot. So, yeah, I could have done with that devices page actually. Oh well. We're now let's open up an existing device that has a structure that's predefined or something. What have I got that's simple? Oh, I'll copy there's an example one on the wiki. That's the easiest thing to do. Devices. Somewhere, devices. Device scripting is the page I need. I'll give you, we'll give you this so that you've got a more interesting background to look at. It'll just be a second. Modding. It's bad when you have to search the internet for answers to your own game. Okay, so on our wiki we have a template for a device, and it sort of explains everything that you have to do. This is all a little bit of a repeat of what I went through last week with you all, but with the important extra part of the particle stuff. At some point I'll probably transition towards doing less of a recap of stuff, but while this is all so new and so fresh, I figure it's best to give you all a kind of second look at it. So where are we? Here we go. Transition back over here, and as I said, we've got this f0coffeemachine.lua that now has a template for the device. So save. I'm going to get rid of all these comments as we go. I'll talk you through it first. So device, it's a device table called coffeemachine.lua. The game calls this function when the player tries to, this is the can access. The game calls this function when the player tries to interact with the devices. It determines if the player has permission to view the device's GUI. So that kind of shell that we saw when we hacked into the vending machine earlier. You can set up all kinds of different things for whether you can access this, whether it's that you have a certain item in your inventory, you know, if player inventory equals ... or if you have certain metadata on a character, or if you have a certain password. And there's also an access limit which can be set to 1 or 999,999, which will set how much data you need to collect on a device, or how much data you need to collect on an owner of a device in order to be able to crack the password for it. So that's what that does. We're not going to mess with this and do anything interesting with it today. That's just going to return true so that it's an open device. And when you set return true, it basically assumes that the IoT device has been not misconfigured, but just left with its default factory settings. So its password is admin, its username is admin, its password is password, and you're able to guess that and get straight into the device. So as you can see, there's an update rate. We can get rid of the comment there. Update rate literally says how often this update function is called. We're not going to use that either. That float is how many times a second. Now the interesting stuff. So this is the GUI table which controls the user interface for the devices. Essentially, there will be different types of device. So like at the moment it's just that ncurse is sort of kind of device maintenance mode sort of look. We will be doing other types for whatever, whether it's desktop or I keep trying to hint that we'd like to do industrial control systems, but they're not very generic. They have to be something that's generic and configurable. So a desktop and a few different kind of UI options. So anyway, the header, this is the title that we have at the top of the bar. So what might be quite nice is actually if anyone who's watching, especially Snow Hydra and Demon who are in the comments there, if you can come up with good afternoon, Lead2348. Yes, we're glad that you're seeing behind the curtain. Welcome to Off Grid. Yeah, those in the chat, if you want to come up with a fun or a funny name for the device backend, as I told you, we've kind of called it what did we call it? Cafe Fresh 4000. But the kind of thing that ends up in those devices headers is all kinds of stuff. So like an example would be this basement smart TV. It's opened it in the wrong program. Or dev laptop is an obvious one. So the header in that one, that's s01ep's limited developer console. That's boring. Not dev laptop. How about basement laptop? That one's Linux root at PC, and then an IP address, SMP. Then it's got date, time, and the CPU, motherboard type details. So yeah, if anyone fancies coming up with a header for that, the colors will define. These are defined as values here. It can be RGB. It can be. I think it can be RGB. I hope Pontus is watching. Pontus can correct me. Maybe it can't be RGB, but we can also write color dot. Let's go for a cyan background and grey text. I think it's American. It's all American spelling. Maybe grey's a weird one. Maybe we won't go grey. Green. That's not spelled two ways. Our test, what was the name of it? Cafe Fresh 4000. Title here. Name it, chat. I'm going to get rid of this here, and then this is the interesting part. So we set up the buttons, and they have a name which displays what text is going to be in the button, and then code to execute when it's clicked with this onClick function, and then a set of sub buttons as well. So we're going to do some particle effects with the dispenser. So we'll call this button dispenser settings. Cool. We will, well, we'll leave it printing test button clicked, but what we're going to do is something more interesting. If I just pull up a browser quickly. Oh yeah, it didn't like Chrome. Yeah, that was weird. Okay. There we go. This should work though. Oh, there we go. That looks like that is working. Yes. So, I was gonna pull up a browser in order to show you some bits and bobs. I don't think there's anything too complicated here. Yeah, so basically what we're going to do, we've got this script example. You can go to the wiki to check this stuff out, but wiki.offgridthegame.com modding section. There's the Lure API, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the devices API here. And we're just going to use one call for now, because I'm going to try and make this really easy. We have like all these different calls: get active, set power, toggle power, run once, set a mock. We're going to use set a mock. Well, actually, let's just use devices toggle mock. That's even simpler. Just the one button. So basically, in our button here, instead of printing test, well, I guess we want that to come up with a sub button, so we'll leave that, and then in our next button we'll have this as hacked pwned, I guess, pwned brew. Sorry, that's OCD slightly kicking in, but I just got to do this. Ugh. Instead of that, we are going to throw in this devices toggle mock, and that's all we need to. That's the top end of scripting we need to do. Change the names of the buttons to dispenser buttons, and pwned brew, and throw this little piece of code that, as I said, we just literally just pulled straight off the wiki there. And that's the extent of the coding that you need to know. And I say coding, the extent of fiddling with some script, essentially. So what we're going to do now is hop back into Unity. And we're actually going to set up the particle animations. Well, I've actually already set up the particle animations because that can be a bit of a I mean, it's straightforward creating a particle animation, but it's another thing making it look nice. So I did a bit of a Blue Peter, and here's one that I made earlier, sort of thing. But so if we went to this object, you would see that I have the main object itself. I have a user target, which is where the AI walks to use this thing. I have a steam emitter, and that's the particle effect that I've set up. You saw it do it one time. This is the particle system. If you wanted me to take you through how you were doing it yourself, you would literally just right click on here. Well, you'd right click a little lower. You go add component, particle system, and that would create a new one. We're not going to create a new one because that'll break everything I've done. And you have a lot of parameters to play with, but that's just a case of tweaking and playing. You know, the start color, the amount of time that it's running for, what size they go over time, what it emits, what rate it emits at, what shape it uses, that's like the cone that it's gonna actually emit from in terms of shape, stuff like that. So then there's color over lifetime, and you can set a prefab custom prop that you're going to spit out. So the steam just uses a color, the cup emitter spits out some cups. So as you can see, I've set up something similar there. The water emitter puts a little blast of water out. So let's just imagine I just set those up. They didn't take me that long, like 3 components essentially, but it took probably sort of half an hour to tweak them to make them look nice. The other thing that we add is this coffee machine script, or when I say we add, basically the toolset adds it for you, and it sets up, as we saw in not in here, on the wiki, there's these different states for like set a mock, toggle a mock, whatever else. If we then transition back to Unity, you can see that you've got power on, power off, active on, active off. And these are all things that are set up as Unity events that you don't have to write any C#. You just call that function in Lua, and it's going to look inside and find that function for you and add a load of interesting stuff. So in this instance, this should be empty. If I'd have remembered to clear it out. Come on, Unity. So we'll delete those. We want it to run a mock. When a mock is on, when a mock on is called, we're going to take this steam emitter particle effect, drag it into a mock on, and then go to particle system play. So when a mock on, particle system play, and we'll do the same for all of these, just so it does it all at once. It does a blast of water, a blast of cups, and a blast of steam. So again, particle system play, and finally for the water emitter, particle system play. And then we want to do the same for a mock off, because we've set up a toggle, if you remember, in our device script, which I'll just open up here. There. So this toggle, we need an on and an off for a toggle, obviously. It's not much of a toggle if it's only got one state. So we are then going to go to a mock off. We're going to drop the steam emitter. Oh, come on. I'm going to drop the steam emitter in. Cup emitter in. Water emitter in. And again, particle system, this time stop. 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 Just a second, sorry. And that means that our amok state is now, it should it should be set up to go. Just going to save the scene so that nothing crashes on me massively. The fatal frother, nice. Yeah, I like that, Lichu. Yeah, let's do that. Cafe fresh. Fatal frother. If anyone wants to try and find some coffee ASCII art, I suppose we could do that too. It's always fun. Let's throw some ASCII art in. Let's go to the browser. They've got to have maybe they won't. No script off. Surely you're going to let me search for coffee ASCII art. I might be wrong. Maybe that isn't a genre. Other people have searched it. Yeah. Here we go. Of course it is. What one do we like? I like that one with the tea bag, but it's a coffee machine. Let's use Morphina's coffee cup. Right. So we then want to jump back to our script and we want a new sub button. Oh no, that is the right place. Name equals. Oh yes, the name is the ASCII art. Yeah, right. So ASCII art always comes out a bit funny in here, so that's going to knock stuff off a little bit. But name, yeah, that should be all right. I think that's all we need. I don't think it needs an on click or anything like that. That should work. We'll find out. Yes. Right. So back to the job in hand, obviously. Where's my mouse gone? Want Unity back. There we go. Loving the music. Yes. Cruise to you. Sorry, your name is really in a bright colour, so I can't read it. Cruise to You, or Cruise Tea. Yeah, this is from the soundtrack. I'll turn it up a little bit. I love this track. We could switch over to a different track actually, or I'll put a second track on to go on in the background when this one's done. I think this is the one. Oh, you used to be able to make a playlist. This one might work. Oh, this is one of the old ones. So our sound designer in an answer to Cruise Tea is a guy called Jonas, and he's also working with a friend, the composer Lyndon Holland, who he's fairly well known actually in the kind of game audio world. He scored what's it called, Virginia, which he won a BAFTA for. This is one of the tracks that goes on in the background. Yeah, we've got some more kind of I don't know what you'd call it, kind of more electronic stuff as well, which was the first tune that we showed. So, where have we gotten to? Essentially, yeah, like we put our bit of ASCII art in. That should now be actually set up to run. I think that should work now. Famous last words, but. Yeah, I think we should be able to hit play now, and should be able to hack this coffee machine and make it spit out some coffee cups and show us a bit of ASCII art. Let's throw the ambient electronica on again. Everything's thinking a bit. There we go, there's the map music. So yeah, we're obviously playing this in editor, so you're gonna have a little bit of a slow time while it compiles, and there's a Lua error for us. So just as we thought we were doing. Okay, I'm gonna need to get Unity to expand now for me to read it. Sorry, you don't need to see my forehead like that. Mission. Okay. 451. Right, so let's switch over here. Go to the mission script. We have saved it recently, haven't we? 451. Oh, it always happens. Yeah. No comma. It's a Lua table. It needs a comma. Save that. Let's try this again. It'll take a moment for me to shut that down. Right. Transition transition back to Unity. Let's get a bigger window for showing the game in. Come on, Unity. You're all right. You can do it. You can do it. Right in there. Let's make all of this a bit bigger. Yep. So, I'm not saying it will work now, but it should work now. Well, no. So, oh no. First line. Okay. Well, that's going to be something stupid as well. That looks like a missing comma there. I'm pretty sure while I was writing this up, I was talking about the importance of putting commas in the right place. So why didn't anyone point out that I was being stupid and all kind of high and mighty about commas and not actually typing them? Why didn't you help me out, folks? You could have. You could have saved me from my own poor syntax. So is this gonna... No. Same index and null value. Okay. Mission objectives. Okay. Back here again. Right. Oh, well. That needs capital C. Okay. Let's search through the mission commands. Mission.devices. That all looks fine. Mission.connect to network. Mission.devices. Mission.networks. So that's 4G.main. Mission.networks, and that's 4G user access key. That looks fine as well. Okay. Okay. It might have been not happy looking at looking for the color table with a capital C. We'll see. Yeah, that was it. Okay, cool. Right. So we're gonna cheat again, just to make it easier. Getting in here. I can show you something kind of cool actually as well. So we have this dev laptop. Take the helper app off. You have this dev laptop. And in the dev app laptop we have apps. And there's a bunch of cool apps that we can just add to the app wheel here. So Ghost, Debug, Multi-Tool, Save and Exit. So you might keep an eye out for Easter eggs to do with things like that. So now we have this Ghost tool. It doesn't actually set the mesh of the character as see-through or invisible. It might be nice to, but essentially we are now completely invisible to the guards using that little ghost app. Oh my god. All we can see is the code screen. Well, that's good. Yeah, I just noticed that as well, you didn't really miss anything, luckily. All I showed you was basically how to... Oh, hang on. Lost focus here. I was just showing how you use the dev laptop. There we go, that looks like that's all working. To get an extra app down the bottom. So what we've done, skip through that. There's this ghost app that I downloaded from a dev laptop. So you might find some Easter eggs in the game that you can get bonus apps. You might meet interesting characters who give you new hacking tools. So that was the bit that I was kind of showing. Right, so Lichu says, frustration of making a game boils down to simple punctuation. How you have any hair at this point is beyond me. I have been losing it over my career in game dev. I was gonna get another cheat. I'm gonna show you back into the cave since you missed it anyway. I was gonna just connect myself to all of the doors so I can get through some stuff easily. So what you missed while I was just looking at the code screen and talking was this door access. So I'm going to add both of the door keys. I'm going to give myself Wi-Fi access too. You see those new data points that have dropped in down there. I added these apps. Save and exit. So yeah, we've got all of the goodies now. And that lag that you're seeing is in the editor rather than Twitch. Oops. I need that. So we've got a key card for this now that you wouldn't usually have. And he's trying to tell us that we don't have the key card for it, but we do. And we should be invisible, so we should be able to just dance in front of these guards without getting tasered. Here's one of them using the coffee machine, actually. It's kind of fun. So we can... that's the elevator. We might need to use our first person view to make this easier. That's the profiler. A lot of data in there. Oh yeah, it just targets things. Oh, what? I must have turned the ghost app off. I must have turned it off when I hit it the second time. That makes sense. Well, just a second then. Failing at my own game. Why is that not working? Start again. There we go. Cool. Right. Okay. Sorry about that. We we should be able to SSH into the dev laptop there. We'll get all the access, all the networks, all the apps. There we go, Ghost app on. Skip through this conversation. I'm going to have to remind you, once I get this hackable device in front of us, what we did want, aren't I? We just set up the particle effects in those Unity events, and we're calling them in the Lua script. As I mentioned, the lighting's all a bit janky at the minute because we're currently in the middle of making a build that hopefully you'll be able to get your hands on very soon in a demo. And I've got a little bit of news to announce. During this stream, I'm going to get this little kind of tutorial of how to make hackable objects done. And I've got some surprise news. If you spotted on Twitter, Obscure Moth, who does our community, she was telling people about that stuff. Right, so we should now be able to SSH into. Well, he can't see us at least. Do you know what? I think we got a problem with that coffee machine not connecting properly. That elevator's hackable. Cola machine isn't either. Let's have a look in the scene. What? Oh, okay. He sort of saw us briefly. Maybe I made some noise. Right. Just gonna have to drag this over a little bit so you can all see. Yeah, there we go. So, the coffee machine script looks fine. Check that there's no problems on the mission object, but it doesn't seem to have added a net device, which is the important part of how it actually connects. So, what is it that usually causes that kind of issue? Interest point. Powered is active. Got a mission object. Its type is hackable. Well, I guess this is where we search through our script again. F0 devices copy machine. I'm going to search for this. It's never straightforward, is it? That looks absolutely fine to me. Add hackable device. It's on the 4G network. 7A, misspelt our studio name. Don't have to add it anywhere else. Don't believe. What could it be? There's a potential. What's it named? The object is it's named correctly. What has happened there? Oh, I think that's because I was messing around with that earlier. Right, yeah. I don't know whether anyone saw, but this guard made that vending machine set off a load of stuff. Right, this is called the Cafe Fresh Apostle Lobby. And this is called the Cafe Fresh 4000 Apostle Lobby. So it's correctly named. Well, while I'm trying to get that worked out and debugged, I suppose this is probably a good time to, seeing as I've got your captive attention while you wait for me to fix this thing, and your compulsiveness doesn't allow you to leave the stream before you've seen this thing actually fixed, working. Essentially, I wanted to let you guys know first that we are planning on running a Kickstarter very soon, in the coming weeks. You may have heard that I've got some secrets to spill. That's the secret. There have been loads of you asking about whether we're going to do a beta or some kind of demo, and we kept telling you we'll tell you soon. Well, there's a reason that we've opened the Discord, and so that is to get you guys in and chatting with us and feeding back on the game. And there's not much point in us having you able to chat with us and in a forum to give us feedback if you don't have the ability to get your hands on it. So essentially, thanks Lichu, thanks for popping by, see you soon. Essentially, we are going to be running a Kickstarter starting on the 9th of October, so throw that in your calendar. It's 3 weeks away, not long. And we'll be running it for about a month, as most Kickstarters do. We've got two main goals with the Kickstarter. Essentially, we are looking to help cover the remaining development costs for art and sound. But as you know, we're already part funded by the UK Games Fund and Creative England, and so this game is coming out one way or the other. Anyway, it's just that we believe with your help via Kickstarter, we can make it everything that it has the potential to be. And then the second thing that we want to do with the Kickstarter is gather people interested in testing modding, essentially. We want to get people working with the modding tools and telling us how they want us to expand the features and showing us what they find interesting about the modding setup and the mechanics and how we can evolve that stuff together to make sure the game is as strong as possible when we come to release it. So as I mentioned, Off-Grid's core development is funded to release in 2019. This is via a really tight budget that we could do with a little help expanding in order to bring freelancers to assist with art, sound, score. I think Cruise T was saying that they love the soundtrack. Like, we need help making sure that we can get hold of the artists that we work with to help make sure that we've got a really, really good full soundtrack, get a few more tracks in there, and release a full OST, because I think that the music that we've got already is really worthy of its own release. And that will obviously be part of the Kickstarter. There'll be a tier for being able to get hold of the soundtrack along with the game. And bringing in some voiceover and more. But on top of that, like, now that the modding tools are fleshed out and in a really good state and ready for people to test, we want to develop the last phase of the game in the open as such, and have you help us make it everything it can be. So what does open development mean? Well, pretty much exactly what it sounds like. That we're going to essentially allow people to peer into development through me doing these streams regularly, and modding with you guys, sort of showing you what we've been developing in the background and how to use some of the modding tool set, showing you a roadmap that summarizes what our goals are over the coming months running up to release, and what features we're working on currently, and getting you to comment on what you would like to see us prioritize. We're planning on having a Trello board that's a public Trello board that you can all sign up to and make comments on. We'll also have the Discord. We've got the modding channel there and feedback channels for suggestions there. So yeah, we're really planning on developing the last phase of the game through to release next year. People will probably ask me when we're releasing next year. Sometime next year. It won't be the very first part of next year, that's for sure. Yeah, 2019 is what we're looking at. And then on top of that, like, the whole idea is we're going to give you guys who want to jump in on the Kickstarter essentially first access to the game. Like, what is first access? Well, first access is akin to a beta or an alpha access, but we decided to call it first access because there's a lot of misuse of those terms bandied around, and we didn't want people to take away their own interpretation of whether, this game is in active development. The feature set is going to continue to expand with the community even post-release. So defining whether it's in alpha or beta or whatever, even after it's ostensibly come out to some people, they would say if you're still expanding the feature set, then it's not actually alpha. Which is, doesn't make sense in the modern marketplace. So to get around that, we're calling it first access. That's it. I mean, I'll be sort of giving you all more details. I'm really keen on getting you folks who've been with us from early on, some of you from the get-go, the chance to have a look at the Kickstarter page as a preview and help us actually refine the offering and make sure it actually is going to deliver things that you're keen on, whether that's sort of letting us know whether the reward tiers seem correct, what you feel about the pricing. Obviously we've got our own views on that, but we want to make sure the game is coming across to you in a way that you see is appropriate, and the same with what rewards are available. We've got a load of very cool stuff to do with being able to feature in the game in varying ways, and lots of interesting tidbits like the soundtrack and art book, developer notes type stuff. I'd love to get you to give me some feedback on that when you get the chance. If you jump on the mailing list, that's your best bet. Jump in the Discord. The Discord, I will ping an invite in the chat quickly now. That's the Discord. So yeah, in the chat there. You can find the link to the Discord. Right, I guess let's just get back to trying to nail down this bug with the net device. Well, I'm going to do the thing that all good developers do when they're completely perplexed by something. Let's go through every single bracket. Mission table first. Mission objects. Start mission. Setup mission. Yeah, that's fine. That looks like it's in the right place. Yep. Okay. Next one then. And the device itself looks fine. Why wouldn't there be a net-based device on this thing? It's so hard to think on the fly when you know that you're kind of sort of coding under pressure, kind of coding for time. This is slightly bizarre though. There's the mission logic. There's the characters. Let's just close everything up. Mission. Mission logic, inventory items, data. Yeah, I suppose this is interesting for you guys as well. It's a list of all the data that we've got in there. We'll close that one up. Networks, devices, mission objectives. there's nothing wrong with the brackets there. All these functions look like they're set up properly to me. Set up mission, start mission, mission object. Getting some spoilers in here, reading some of these. No, there's nothing wrong with any of those. They're all valid functions. It would seem. Mission objectives, devices, data. Alright, well devices is what we've been messing around in, so let's open that back up again. Closes there. It's a table, so it's got yeah, there's nothing wrong with any of this. That's fine, that's fine. Coffee machine. Let's just take data color out and see whether it's anything to do with that. Unity. Right. Let's move the spawn point and the dev laptop to make our lives a bit easier. Pass that through here, just on the floor. Right, let's try again. So we haven't got any Lua errors that are obvious there. I mean, what we can do is expand this out a little. Right, it is trying to connect to that network. Cafe Fresh 4000 Apostle lobbies. So it is, that device is connected. Let's go into the scene and have a quick look again. Take a second to load up. There we go. So this is the problem I was having, is I don't think it's got a net device. It's got a mission object that's hackable. It's got this device script that we've set up with Steve's C# events for the particles, but we don't have a net device. It's marked as static again, which might be problematic. Uncheck static when we come back out, but it's on the right tag, it's on the right layer. So there not being a net device would probably give the impression that it's not been added as a hackable, but it's just for a sanity check. Have a quick look. F0 coffee, and it's the object, the device definition name that we're going to look for. Mission dot add hackable device. Mission devices F0 coffee machine. Can't see anything wrong there. Mission dot connect to network. Mission devices F0 coffee machine. Mission dot networks s01ep03. Oh, I'm not on the screen for you guys to be able to see the code. Mission.devices.f0 coffee machine mission.networks. Yeah, I mean, there is the potential that, like I said at the very beginning, that if you have an object with the same name, it can cause a clash. I'd be so surprised, because we just named this thing. We made the name of it up in the stream. But who knows? Ooh, I have seen what it could be though. I have. Okay, we've got a second scene that the props are in at the minute, and I have managed to drop this hackable object into the second scene rather than the first one. I bet you that's it. I bet you if I switch over to here, our Cafe Fresh is actually in the static objects rather than in the main newspaper scene. So with all that, I can't. I won't. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Maybe that won't fix it, but I bet you it's pretty likely. When Unity catches up with me, I'll move it over. Okay, here we go. So we'll drag this up into the correct scene. Newspaper office, F0 interactive objects. There we go. Let's see what happens now. Okay, yeah, that's this whole issue with the second scene. Cool, right, well, just save this quickly, close out the second scene. You'll see a load of the props disappear, but that's not a problem. Move scene. This time this should work, he says. No, right. It's got a problem with the lure device. Let's have a quick look here then. Buttons. GUI. That all looks correct to me. Device. Well, let's stop being fancy. Let's just get rid of this. Oh. Get rid of this coffee. Quickly. Yeah, that looks like it should have been fine. Sub buttons. We could give this sub button a name. That shouldn't be a problem though. You can have unnamed buttons. Let's try this again. Oh, sorry folks, I keep forgetting to switch between the code and the editor for them. Well, we're in the editor currently. We were here. Let's see. No. Coffee machine.lure. Line 1. Attempt to index a nil value. I don't really see where it's going to be having that issue. That's a function. What's the name of that? That's an empty function. That all looks correct. Colors might be the problem. I don't know. We could go back to the colors from the example, I suppose. We'll get rid of the bits that we definitely don't need. So there's an empty update function here that we can get rid of. I suppose this on click is probably going to be what allows the sub button to turn up. So we'll leave that in. And we'll test it now. So close that out, start her up. Okay, let's switch these out for values. Could have sworn that these took names as well, but maybe that's just me thinking about the data color. Oh. Names seem like they'd be fine if they're not in brackets, so let's try that. So all we've done is these colours here, they were in brackets. We're going to now save that script. Hit play again. Could this be our moment? Nope, still nil value. This is very strange. This is such a simple script as well. I don't think having an empty on-click function in the button is a problem. I can try naming the buttons maybe. Just so that these functions have names, these tables have names. So we'll just call it button 1. And we'll call this button sub-button 1. So in Lua you can name these table entries, or you can leave them unnamed and then it just assigns a number to them, and it makes it easier to set them up as an array, or the equivalent of an array or a list. It's the word array doesn't mean the same in Lua as it does in say a C-based language. It's not as strict, and they operate in different ways. So yeah, I don't know. They say if you've got any kind of Pascal or Perl experience, the arrays are much more similar to that, but I can't speak from experience there. Let's see. Oh, right. I again keep forgetting to hit the code window. Right, we're going to. All we've done is basically named these tables here, button and sub button. Really don't look like they've been doing anything different, but you never know. Try this now. Okay. No, still getting the same nil value error. There is the off chance that. Oh right, yeah, there's no equals on these now. Same with that. Just for consistency, but not because I think it's the issue. Let's see, is that gonna run? No. Attempt to index a nil. There are no nil values. I could swear. What here looks nil? Devices is a full table. Can access function, return true end. That looks fine to me. GUI table ends there at the bottom. Above that, buttons. These all have commas separating them. That could be it. Let's see. Moment of truth for the 15th time. Hey, okay, well, it's not broken. Doesn't mean it's working. If that's not a weird thing to say. Right, let's see about SSHing into this bad boy. We'll get the Ghost app. Ghost, and we'll throw ourselves on both those networks. Turn the Ghost app on. Oh, I should be. Oh no, I only put myself on the right networks. Whoops, that'll be my fault. Let's sage into that laptop again. There we go. Both the right access keys. This should now let us through. Boom. He shouldn't be able to see us. He might hear us, so I'll take it slow. It's a bit empty because we got rid of all those props on that prop level. That coffee machine is now visible as a hackable object though. So we are there. And now the moment of truth is to find out whether this has all worked properly. So, like I said, what we've done, we have gotten this prop coffee machine. The inspector isn't showing up what it is just yet. But we put a mission object on it. And now it has a hackable object net device which gives it a MAC address. We haven't set an owner, it's got the data color, the network that we put it on, the device name, the IP address, etc. all we did was we put on a mission object. He's not going to taser me, is he? No, thank God. We put a mission object on as hackable, and then that has changed the layers for us to mission object and hackable device, and added a box collider. And then we've gone to this coffee machine script, and we've taken these particle effects that we created earlier, a steam emitter, a cup emitter, and a water emitter, and we've put them into this Unity event component. So the steam is particle system.play when a mock on is called. Same with the cup emitter and water emitter. And when a mock off is called, the steam, cup, and water emitters stop. Particle system.stop. And that little setup of events there means you don't have to write any C#. All you have to do, and I say all you have to do because obviously you've all patiently sat with me while I looked through all of the mistakes I'd made writing this script up. But what you have to do is use upper camel case for your colours, set up some buttons. Cafe Fresh 4000 Fatal Frother is what we named it in the end. Set up an on-click function, devices.toggleamock, device name is this device. And then, all being well, I should be able to click back to the game. If we're lucky. Snow Hydra, yeah, arrays do start in 1 in Lua. You can actually force arrays to start at anything, so you can actually set your first element as 0 if you want to, but it won't necessarily function correctly. It will look for 1 first with a method call. That wasn't our problem, luckily. So let's see whether we can SSH into this bad boy. That's the elevator. It's connecting. All that hard work that we've been through. Oh, and that's nice. That's what cyan and green highlights. Dispenser settings. My buttons aren't bloody working. Alright. Fine. Let's have a look here. Well, what we'll do is we'll just be cheeky about it. We'll take this sub button out and just make it a button for now. What do I have to do on click to? Let's look at another device. That's the easiest thing. What am I forgetting? I was doing stuff with buttons before in the hand dryer. Let's drop this in here. Curses, buttons, social name, sub buttons. Maybe it doesn't like that on click. I'll just take that on click out. It doesn't need to be in there, to be frank. Yeah, I was thinking that I needed the on click in order to display the sub button. Maybe not. Save that. Yeah, and Pichon has also sort of elaborated on the array setup in Lua. We were both talking about it the other day. Actually, it's quite interesting in that it's a list, really. It can contain any type of element, and that includes functions. So you can have an array that has ints, floats, functions, strings, all of them, all put in together, because it's a set of tables and entries. So you could set up an array that was generated from 0 to 9, and then you could add something called A, B, and C to it, and they would all be valid. And the A, B, and C don't have numbers. If you were to increment through them, it wouldn't be able to find A, B, and C by trying to look for the after 0 to 9 for the 10, 11, and 12 elements. It's interesting like that. Right. Try this again. Unity's getting a little tired on us. Come on now. Come on, Unity. Come on, Unity. There we go. It caught up. Right. We're getting visible again. Right. Right, we should be invisible. We'll just avoid him anyway. Okay. Stay out of people's way. Look at that lovely piece of prototype geometry. That's definitely a bit tall for a desk, isn't it? I'll have to knock that down. What? Did I not? I didn't turn my ghost app on. Try again. Just a sec. Got any other lure questions, Snow Hydra? You said you were going to ask all of the lure questions, and you've only asked one. One about the number 1. Is your second question going to be about the number 2 in lure? Cheaty, 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 cheaty. Oh, I keep forgetting to put the ghost tab on. That's better. Nearly did exactly the same thing again. Right, SSH is on, targeting that device. Oh, you bastard! Alright, I'm gonna cheat. I really don't know what's wrong with this button here. So I'm just gonna not have it as a nested button. I'm gonna put it, I guess it's maybe because it's an empty button. Button 1, sub button. Button 1. Buttons. No, I don't know what's going on there. Snow Hydra likes the number 2. Are you saying you didn't like the number 1? well, I'm glad you like the number 2. I'm going to use the number 2 in this line of code. Button 2, button 2. Button 2's name is going to be, well, Pwning Brew. Pwning Brew, mate. Right, so on click function, devices toggle lock. And end function, so well, they can all be tabbed in technically. Name brew. Get rid of this sub button. We don't need you in here, sub button. Don't like your kind, sub button. Right. If this doesn't work, I'm going to bang my head against the desk live on the internet. So we will quit out of here. Is this relaxing, watching other people struggle at writing simple scripts that they wrote fairly straightforwardly just before they went live on the internet? It's nice watching someone be an arse. I guess the lag means I won't get an answer for a few seconds. Right, that's saved. That I should be able to transition over. What? Unexpected symbol new button 2. Oh, you're right. No. No. That's what that is. That is, once again, missing comma. Everyone's favourite. One of the things that we definitely will need to work on is some better error catching and warnings and log tools for folks to use. Some of them aren't terrible. Some of them are. You know, the fact that this is just giving us line 1 every time is not very helpful for debugging things. Snowhide just said, it's like pair programming. I don't feel as alone when struggling in my own dev work. Well, that's nice. It's sort of slightly meditative then, hopefully. Well, this is functioning. Let's see. Let's see. I hope I've got some beer in the fridge. Right. I'm in, as the hacker said to the fly. Right, we'll make sure we put the ghost app on so that no one sees us. Yeah, what would the struct name be for a language that only used evens, I suppose? You know, you'd have floats, ints, and evens. Even Stevens? Is that the name of the language? Like Shakespeare, only everything has to be in twos. Oops, that's the wrong device. Oh! Work, you bastard. Hey! There's our button, Pwned Brew. Did it not? It's not fired up particle effects. It's not fired up particle effects. That's meant to toggle. It's meant to toggle a mock. Why isn't it toggling a mock? Well, I don't know. Oh, it's because it's probably because I've pressed it several times and it's a toggle. Why don't I just press it once? Why don't you just press it once, Rich? So, just as a little reminder, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, we are running a Kickstarter on the 9th of October. Put it in your calendars. We'd love your help. We'd love you to get a copy of the game early. We'd love you to come and do some of this modding with us. It's exciting times. We're pretty pumped about it. We've got some pretty cool rewards and some interesting stuff. So what's the particle system in Unity doing? Well, nothing currently. It should be. We pop over here, and I promise you it was doing this earlier. Oh, no, that's nav mesh. Don't need that. We should be toggling a mock. I mean, maybe I'll make this simpler on myself and not use the toggle. I'll just use on and off. Set up 2 buttons. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. We'll call this the mock off, and this one the mock on. Right, and we will go to the wiki quickly, wherever that is. Devices Lure API, and we'll use devices setter mock device name state, and the state is a bool. So name a mock off. Mock off, mate. Device name true. I mean, maybe it needs a capital D. Maybe the example is wrong on the wiki. That is possible. Oh no, we don't want to do that. We want to copy the entire function. Hi, iMod. You are late. I mean, like technically, I probably would have hoped to have finished half an hour ago, but like last week, I'm debugging something that ought to be pretty simple. So to catch you up, I'm just trying to get a particle system that we've set up on the device in Unity to be called by Lua. So got this onClick function, a mock off, device is set amok, device name, we'll set this one to false obviously because it's off. That one's true, button 2, button 1, save, just transition back to Unity. Come on! There's a small child in my house. It is my small child, by the way, screaming at the top of his lungs. So yeah, iMod, the other iMod 98, the other bit of news we have that I announced was we are going to be running a Kickstarter starting on October the 9th to basically help us fund going into open production so that we can do the rest of development with an open roadmap, talking through what features we're adding and giving you guys an idea of what we're working on and giving you the opportunity to test builds regularly and play along with us, make some mods, advise us on how you want the modding tools to be expanded and what parts of the API you want. It's not actually in early access. We're literally just going to do the equivalent of a closed kind of first access thing. So basically by backing the Kickstarter or by being heavily involved in the Discord, I recognize that there's some really enthusiastic folk out there who maybe don't necessarily have the spare cash at the moment, who would like to help us out. So basically backing the Kickstarter or being involved in the Discord or getting involved in the streams, basically in about 3 weeks we'll be running the Kickstarter, and then a month after that, once it's ended, we'll take a couple of weeks to get our bearings, and we'll be opening production up and getting you folks in and modding stuff with us, basically. So hopefully that's exciting news for you. I know you and Demon have been talking about some ideas already. Right, so let's see if this is working this time. If it's not, then I'm gonna have to try something else, or I might even have to knock it on the head. Can't wait. Good stuff. Right, door access, networks, apps. Put the Ghost app on. Actually, let's put the debug tool on as well. I can't remember whether that's actually useful in here anymore or not. It might just slow everything down. This was kind of fun. Where is it? Oh, it's not there. Is there a reason it's not in there? Apps. Oh yeah. Debug. Add this to our app wheel. So this is an interesting thing to show you. This is how you add and take away apps that you have in your phone from the radio menu down here in the bottom, which is under our off-grid the game thing at the moment, but we just added the debug menu, and that gives us a log. That doesn't look like it's showing us much. Do I have to use my mouse on it? I can't remember. Pontus might have to comment on that. Let's take that off. Oh shoot. Turn debug, turn Ghost on. Right. Oh, let's hope this time. So yeah, iMod, if you're excited about the Kickstarter and the first access that we're going to do, it would it would be awesome if you could tell some friends, tell anyone that you think might be interested in the game, not just modding. Help spread the word. That's a really big thing for us at the minute. And if you're not signed up to the mailing list, maybe sign up to the mailing list and see if you can get some friends who are interested to sign up to Sign up to the mailing list. Good job you grabbed coffee, Demon. Yeah, I know. I'm still fucking here. Right. iMod says, I love debug stuff in games. I don't know why. Just seeing simple printfs from developers makes me happy. Yeah. Well, yeah, the debug tool we'll hopefully make something quite interesting of in here, so it's sort of in the game tools as you play. Right, so a mock on. Hey, and it freaking works! Look at that. Our coffee machine hacked, pwned. Right. Well, that's a pretty good place to stop now. That is our coffee machine. It's firing coffee cups at us. We can, as you can see, the lighting's a little bit odd. We can get back into it and turn it off again. Get fucked, coffee machine. Yeah, yes, Demon. Let's turn that off. And that is how you set up a particle effect. As you can see, these particles have a lifetime, so they're busy disappearing and dying. You can make them permanent if you want. You probably end up crashing the game if you leave it on forever. But that's up to you. You're a modder. You can do what you like. You can really push the boundaries. See if you can get some kind of buffer overflow going. Right, well, I think that is pretty much the right place to stop. As I said, the game's looking a little ugly at the minute because I had to get rid of one of the tests sets of geometry. But that's where we're at. That is how you hack a coffee machine. Should we do it again just for fun? The AI is a little bit unhappy at the minute, actually. Bumping into things. Turn it back on. What would be really nice would be setting up on-the-fly Lua editing, like as well as the debug stuff, like the ability to change some of this on the go, but that is not what we're up to. Pontus and I actually did prototype a platformer for an educational game that you had to program Lua abilities to your character. So you had to program being able to move left as well as right, and you had to program in Lua being able to jump around, and you had to solve the puzzles by changing the values in the platforms that moved. It's not 100. That's a lot of particles. It's a bunch, yeah. I mean, it's probably limited to 100. I think it's not too many. Right. I think that's a good place to stop. Let's switch back to here. So, last words, I guess. Thanks again for coming by. You want to make all your mods in pure C. Assembly, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you guys are welcome to decompile the game as much as you want, and you can write your mods in zeros and ones for all I care. Maybe that's the best way to do it. It'll take you a while. Transistors, yes, nice. Yeah, just basically, well, that's something you could do. You could make a mod in Lua where you had to actually build the transistors in the game in order to then reprogram the mod. It'd be like a meta sort of self-replicating, self-referential mod. Add support in any other language in Lua. It's going to be lolcats. Yeah, brain fuck. Oh. I quite like the Shakespeare language where the function has to be Romeo. The characters are the names of the functions, so Romeo enters and exits in order to start different functions. Right. Moving on. I just want to shout out to you all for being in the comments with me and keeping this fun and lively, and helping me try and fix things when they were broken. We got there in the end. We saw how to make your own moddable, vulnerable coffee machine. We love you too, Demon. So basically, tell your friends. We've got about 3 weeks now to make a load of noise about this Kickstarter. We need people who are really excited, like you guys. iMod, I'll at you next time we stream. Absolutely. I think Obscure Moth has been holding off of doing the at everyone. So we'll ping you directly for sure. You'll spread it like Mirai. Yeah, spread the Kickstarter like some botnet terror on the interwebs. Basically, if you're interested in backing the Kickstarter, that'd be great. If you can let us know ahead of time so that you're keen, please pop in the Discord. We'll create a Kickstarter channel in the Discord. And the Kickstarter channel is going to essentially be also a place where we can hopefully get your feedback on the page ahead of it launching. So we'll show you a preview. It'll be a bit of a behind the scenes for our crowdfunding campaign. So it should be pretty interesting. You can tell us whether you want something different, whether there's something we haven't mentioned in the rewards that would be a great idea, all that kind of thing. Cool. Well, thanks again. Great stream, great fun. I'll look forward to seeing you all again soon. I am away next week. I'm flying to Portugal to give a talk on making moddable games about hacking and hacker culture. How much to buy the studio so that you can get the game now. We haven't actually valued the studio. We value our independence. We're artists. We're priceless. That's my answer. The stream will be on YouTube. Because you turned up late, didn't you? The stream is on YouTube. I'll get it uploaded tonight. I'll ping it in the Discord. How much to buy me? I think my wife is in charge of that as to whether I'm for sale. Highest bidder, instead of Secret Hacksaw, hello, how you doing? Maybe instead of doing crowdfunding, we could just do some kind of auction for me. We'll see. I think Pontus and Steve would probably be happy with that. Right, the talk about moddable games. Is the talk about moddable games going to be on YouTube? Hopefully they'll record it. I'm actually talking in a couple of places over the next month, so I would hope at least one of them will be recorded. So bit of a sort of sneak peek, but I'm in Portugal for Game Dev Camp in Lisbon on the 28th, I think, is when I'm talking, but I think I have to fly on the Thursday, so in a week. Then I'm off to LA to Indiecade to give a talk there, and then I'm back for a day and flying to Sweden. Pardon me, it's flying to Sweden for Sweden Games Arena to talk there. So that's I think it's 3 talks in 3 weeks. It means that my America don't want you. I know that, Demon. Yeah. Well, when you're naughty, America isn't very happy for doing the cybers and that. Would love to chat you up during your visit to LA. Oh snap! Sounds good. Let me know where. I mean, come to Indiecade. Absolutely. So I hope you don't end up like Quadrilateral Cowboy, who got his mod support super late and there's no mods for it. No, that's exactly the opposite that we want to do. We basically want this game to be fully functional as a moddable game ahead of release. So Secret Hacksaw, basically, we want to get you in there in like basically in the next month. The whole idea is we're going to be starting this Kickstarter on the 9th in 3 weeks' time. The Kickstarter will take about a month. If all goes well, then we'll go into open production, open development, where we are essentially opening up our current tasks to you guys to let you know what we're up to and sending you builds. So basically, if you back the Kickstarter at a certain level, or if you're active in the Discord, then you can you'll get like what we're calling first access, which will be about a week or two after the Kickstarter finishes. We'll get a behind the scenes copy of Off Grid over to you folks to start modding and playing with. So we want people to be making and uploading mods way before the game's even launched. So hopefully that's a good answer for you. Are you thinking about doing Steam Early Access later on? We're actually planning on just going to full release. So we're going to do this first access, sort of behind the scenes access, until the game is ready. It's a good question, Steam Early Access. We've considered it in the past, to be honest. The problem is, I think people have an expectation for what kind of genre goes into early access nowadays. And so I think we want to avoid getting caught in that trap. You also only get one hit at a launch, in what I understand from our other friends and devs in the indie game scene. And so actually it's better if you can manage to get the game all the way done so that you get a bigger marketing push. So the plan is to market it big, make a big release and get it all the way to done with the help of a small core of you folks who get in at the Kickstarter level to give us feedback. So hopefully that sounds good to you. Yeah, there is that problem, exactly. I think people have sort of lost trust in sort of shell games that go into early access and never come back out of it. So we don't want to we don't want to get caught into that. We want the people who are giving us feedback to be folks like you who've come on board early because you were keen on it, rather than just you saw it as an interesting thing on the Steam page in early access and thought you'd give it a go. We want it to be folks who contributed and in the community with us already. So yeah, I think that's the right way to go. Anyone got any other questions before I head on? Because otherwise I will wrap up. Just make sure you put October the 9th in your calendar. There'll be a demo out the same time, so you get to play a demo. Work out whether off-grid is definitely for you, because I mean that's the thing. Off-grid is a fairly niche game. Hopefully you've gotten a good impression of it from what we've been going through in these streams. But yeah, please do tell your friends. And if that's it for questions, Off-Grid is going to be my stolen love child. I think that's a good note to finish on. That sounds good to me. But yeah, I'll see you folks in the Discord. Remember to jump in the Discord, jump on the mailing list. I threw a Discord link in. I'll throw another one just quickly here. Some of you folks are already in the Discord, so this is for those who aren't already in the Discord. Yeah, jump on the mailing list, jump on Twitter and holler at us. And if you're on Twitter or on Facebook, or if you're in other places where people are colleagues or comrades of yours that you think will like Off-Grid, please share our social media over the coming weeks and try and get them interested in helping us out on the Kickstarter. Cool. Right. Wicked. I think that's it now. Thanks again, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. And I'll have this stream up on YouTube for you sometime tonight. And next week's stream is going to be pre-recorded because, as I said, I'm flying to Portugal. So if you want, maybe hit me up with some questions or things you'd like me to elaborate on in a pre-recorded stream or video, I suppose. I might just do it. Yeah, we'll see. I'll have a look at some options. Either way, I'll make sure that there's some new content for you guys to watch. Thanks again, and I'll see you sometime next week or in Discord.